All right, so as we said at the end of the last video, this car needs some work. Clutch is the main thing to drive it that it needs, and a MAF. It needs a mass airflow sensor because it was driving like shit. But yeah, so we got the car back here. We got it up on jack stand as high as we can get it. And the other day, we haven't touched it in pretty much a month since the last event, but I came over the other day, ripped off the exhaust and the drive shaft this way. Everything's much more accessible now, and I can get to start taking these transmission bolts out. But that's the next step. I gotta get this transmission out so we can replace the clutch, put the transmission and all this back together, because everything else is up top. I mean, yeah, the catless headers, I want to get new ones of those, but that probably won't happen before the next event. I know I could do the clutch no problem, and I can do that with, I could do the catless headers really anytime. It doesn't make a difference. But yeah, so I'm gonna get under here and keep on. I want to get the starter taken off and just everything else loosened up to get this transmission out of the car. It's gonna be fun. Let's do it.
How much are you loving those bolts, Zach?
So much fun.
Yeah.
They're so good.
All the way up in there.
BMW engineers are awesome. It's a good thing.
Taking us in like an hour to just do 3 bolts.
4.
4.
But they're all the top ones. That one's out.
All right, 3 hours later. Now we just gotta pull her out.
Insulation sucks.
Yeah,
Transmission's not fun.
not a good time. Okay, so we learned that you can jack up the engine and angle it to where we were able to get the transmission past this stupid fucking firewall. Earlier I called the drywall. Had to restart the video. I will admit it. Zach looked at me like an absolute jabroni, but we're getting it in. We also kind of had to angle it at a different angle to where we can actually get it past this. You can't just slide this sucker in, unfortunately. So now we got it aligned, just trying to get the bolts in, and then hopefully we can get the rest by the end of the night. What do you think, Zach Paul?
Yeah.
Good talk. Transmission's finally back in. Thank you, Zach. He did most of the work. I just kind of guided it in and did some Google search to figure out how to put it in, but we got it in. When you forget your flashlight, you just get the whole spotlight out, huh?
Yep. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Just took Wanda for a little spinaroonie. It went well. I mean, she took second, yep, which is new. She got a little bit more power. My clutch is really heavy, which is new to me, but I'll get used to it on my next, on the March 2nd in a few weeks. So yeah, we're switching vehicles so we can take this one home and I can wash it because it's nasty.
All right, Nissa's car is home now because she is driving this weekend for her second event, and my car is back at the garage so I can work on that thing. But since we got this car, this whole right side of the motor, or at least like under the intake manifold and really underneath here as well, all the suspension arms, everything is just caked in dirt and dirty as shit. And the garage doesn't have a water source at all. So, time to clean it. Okay, so it's not perfect, but much better than it was. I pressure washed down on a lot of this stuff right here just for easeability. Did not touch anything under the intake manifold with pressure washer. And then coming down here, got the front of the radiator, sway bar, control arm, shock, spring a little bit. It wasn't as dirty up there, but definitely right there. And the power steering rack, all this got pressure wash underneath here. Again, not perfect, but much better than it was. So now I can actually work on the car and not get too filthy. All right, so after about a few months since her first drift day, the car is really ready to go now. New clutch, new center support bearing, new mass airflow sensor, new brake booster check valve, bunch of stuff. And it actually runs right now. Yeah. It'll take second gear. I've tested that already. She's gonna run my front bumper. This way it looks like a complete car. But yeah, she's ready to go now. Ready to actually have her first legit drift day where she can actually take second gear. Yeah. And not just be stuck at first the entire time. So car's ready, she's ready, and it's gonna be a good time tomorrow.
Definitely have to learn the clutch because it's what is it called? Like a push button clutch?
Yeah, it's more it's more of an on-off switch.
On-off switch.
More
so
than more of an on-off switch.
Rather than finding where it can catch, it's kind of like a
stage 4 clutch. You'll get used to it.
Yeah.
And you're really just gonna be clutch kicking anyway. It doesn't make a difference, but it'll be perfect for that.
Work on the clutch kicks, get used to the clutch, figuring out where to catch the wheel, because right now my hands are all over the place. That's
gonna be normal until you start getting that where you catch the wheel at a good time.
Yeah.
And then you're able to actually to get a full corner. Then you'll start to figure out where it's too much or where it's too little. It'll take time. At first you're gonna feel like you're all over the place. I felt the same exact way. Once you get your first lap down, your first full linked lap, it'll be like, okay, you'll have muscle memory as to what you did.
Yeah.
And it gets a lot easier from there. But having a working car is more than half the battle. Yes, so now you'll have that, and it'll just be all on you now, which is good because we know the car will work. So day 2 tomorrow, first real drift day where she gets to get out of first gear. And we'll see how the car holds up. Hopefully everything goes well. It should go well. And yeah, excited. Let's do this thing.